Finally, I did it. I've placed a garage on the surface of the MUN. I'm not sure why I did it or what, but it took a lot of time and a lot of effort. So it was a hard project, but I finally did it. I can now park my rover inside and shielding it from all the elements and all the moon dust, I guess, and the radiation. Yeah, the radiation would be cool. So yeah, here it is. So first of all, I'm gonna start with the chassis of the rover, start building the chassis and then figuring out all the parts and pieces where they have to go. To be honest, it's not that hard building a rover, but I was going for a futuristic look for a Mars rover, for a MUN rover, sorry. So that's why you will see me going back and forth a lot and modifying and then removing stuff and then adding them, because I didn't have a quite clear picture for what I was doing. So now, first of all, I've started the rover with the 3 seats. I found that the rover can handle 3 seats, so started with that, then the chassis, and then after that some plates on the floor to start shaping up the rover. And here's the twist: I've added this like flipping back, this hydraulic end to the rover, so it can be lowered down and the kerbals can access the materials and the stuff that I will place later on in the back of this rover. So this will be actually the storage unit of the rover. And here now you can see the futuristic design that I was going for with the sharp edges, and I think I was trying to simulate a car, a racing car right here. I'm not sure if there is a lot of resemblance in that, but I was trying to do something, and those pieces weren't clipping as easy as I thought. So that's why sometimes I'm building off the rover and then transferring them back, and most of the time I just remove everything and then add new panels, because I was, as I said, just testing stuff, and sometimes they didn't work nicely together. So here I'm just fiddling around with this part, trying to get it perfectly aligned in order to achieve the perfect angle with the slide, the hydraulic back slide. So the getting those stuff actually critical was in order to look good. So I'm just building something to have fun, but also to look good. And here you can see the resemblance of the car that I was mentioning by placing like those 2 triangles on the sides. It will just look like a front windshield, but the seats were sitting so close to the front of the rover, so I couldn't place them correctly, and after I did, I end up with this weird shape. It wasn't looking good, because those 2 sharp edges at the front will start grabbing onto the ground, and I think they will cause a lot of damage if we actually went to the moon with this design. So now here what I was talking about, I just laid down the panels and they didn't line up correctly. I'm just gonna fix that later on by removing all the side panel, building it aside and placing it here. Now sometimes I have some missing footage from this build because it took me way too long to finish it, so some footage got deleted, and others I wasn't recording. I just tested and tested once again and again until I came up with the final design, which is what you see now on your screen. I've started the design, finished all the sides. I've got the front sharp edges, let's say the front spikes of the rover. It's not an apocalyptic vehicle, so it doesn't need spikes. And I've placed some storage unit in the back with some batteries and the normal rover wheels, and I've placed this hydraulic cylinder in the middle with an antenna. And now the hydraulic cylinder is equipped with a motor, so the motor will start rotating. It will give you just that illusion of that the rover is trying to communicate with the base. You know what you see in the airports, there is a big satellite that starts to turn around and around, so that's what I was trying to simulate right here. And after that I've started adding some accessories like the solar panels from the side and on the top, in order to charge and give electric force for the vehicle, for the lights and the wheels. And then after that I started building my actual garage. That's what I was saying, I've based all the design on the rover in order to be stable, I guess, or that's how I just figured it out. I don't know if this is the stablest, but that's how it worked for me. So I've started with a decoupler in front of the rover, so the rover will be stable in this garage until I disattach it. Yeah, I guess disattach, yeah. So here I was trying different designs with the different chassis, and I found these iron beams are the best in this design. Although you point one thing, that putting 8-way blocks on either sides won't work, so the 8-way will work just for one side, the other will still hang, and here where I use a connecting rods for that. And now you see me adding a lot of 8-way blocks stacked above each other, and that's because I didn't count the ground, so the lowest point of the garage was basically higher than the rover wheels. It basically doesn't work like that. I need to give a bit of space under the rover, and here you can see I adjusted the final steps and started laying out the outer side panels. Now I'm not sure why, but I couldn't figure out how to fix the color of the panels. I had to keep and change it manually. Now you'll see it later in the video. And also just trying around and testing everything. Sometimes I've worked a bit in a loop, I would say. Yeah, it was a loop by adding each individual panel. Now you'll see how I was going and placing each single panel alone, individually, sorry. So instead of copying everything, I'm not sure why, here I've started copying stuff and said like there is an easy way to do that. Yeah, it didn't work that well for me, so I had to pre-adjust and to add another panel and then adjust, and just to give it somehow a realistic look. The panels were snapping on each other perfectly, and here now you can see with the colors. I'm not sure how, I forgot how to set a fixed color for the panels, so I needed to go back each and every time and set the color to black. I figured that black is the best from a cosmetical look purpose, because black in space wouldn't really work because there isn't that much light, and this means no reflection. Black color doesn't reflect that much, so you won't be able to spot this garage in night time. Yeah, so here you see me just adding the floors and the ceilings, the roof for the garage, coloring it black. Wasn't the best idea. And here, like from here now on, I started testing a lot of stuff. I've added the support beams in order not for the rover to split, but I'm just going to skip a bit forward. I'm sorry for that, because I've tested a lot of stuff and nothing really worked, and here I'll show you the final design now. Sorry for the terrible transition between the two footage, but I've lost some of the videos, some of the clips, so yeah, apologies. Okay, now so this is the final design. I will just stop the video a little bit right here, and I'm just going to explain the idea right here. It's a bit complicated, but nothing too serious. So I've built the garage, I've placed the the rover inside the garage. I've equipped the garage with one seat in order for kerbal to sit in, so he can actually activate and deactivate the garage while the rover is disconnected, because once you disconnect the rover, this thing becomes just a piece of I don't know, structure. It's not an actual vehicle or equipment, so you can't control it later on. That's why I placed a chair inside where you can assign a kerbal so he can control the garage. And second, I've placed this exoskeleton, if you want to say, across this garage. And this is basically, if you watch the latest NASA mission of Perseverance, they had like the rover, and it is connected to an exoskeleton that had the boosters. The exoskeleton will fly the rover down to the Martian atmosphere and lowers the rover, drop, and then fly and get destroyed. So this is where I've aimed, I guess. I'm not sure how much I will succeed. No, I will actually succeed, since we saw the garage. So the exoskeleton will hold all the boosters, all the hydraulics, all the wheels and the engines that I'm going to use, plus the fuel, yeah. And when I'm done with everything, and the wheels too, I will use the wheels to actually steer this thing into the place that I want it to go, and this whole exoskeleton will just disconnect and fly away and get destroyed. And now, as you will see later on in the video, now I went and placed this garage with a huge capsule, a payload shield, in order not for it to get destroyed, because this thing really is fragile. It doesn't play well with a lot of atmospheric force, so just place it with this cargo place, and just we have to launch. It's not actually a complicated launch, just something normal. I have this booster level pre-built, so I just merged the two vehicles together, and I'm just gonna skip the way. I am attempting to land this thing. Now please be careful and do a lot of quick saves, because landing this thing is really hard, and I've tried it a lot of times. Like here you've seen, I guess this is my first attempt. I'm not sure, I've tried a lot of them, and I crashed. That's how it is with heavy payload vehicles. You always crash at the first couple of times until you get the hang of it, until you understand what you're actually doing. So sorry for the mess on the screen, but I was just managing my fuel correctly. Now you see this image is sped up quite a few times, so that's why you see everything destroyed fast. But take your time, land it easily, and slow and steady always win, I guess. So I'm just using the lower boosters in order to get low speed, and don't forget to switch your target from your compass down there from target to surface, because otherwise you will be looking at the navigation nodes for the target, not for the surface, so your retrograde and prograde will keep on moving. So here you can see I've tried my best to land it, but didn't succeed. It flipped back on its side, and you will face this problem a lot because we are using hydraulic legs right here, not the stablest. And then you have wheels, and you have the lower booster stage in which you need to disconnect in order to basically lower the robot and drive it, not the robot, lower the garage and be able to drive it, because the booster level are actually taller than the wheels, so you just get stuck on the lower boosters. So here you can see, I guess this is the last attempt at going slow and easy and achieving the least or the most lowest possible surface speed, and I think I will be able to do it. Oh yes, and it is a successful landing. Here you can see the mechanism of separation. I've added a decoupler at the end and some solid stage booster that will shoot off, and they're supposed to go off to distance, but I'm not sure why they glitch out like this. And I'm just gonna drive it, skip the way. Here I am on the base. Oh, this is my small moon base, I would say. I've launched this folding station earlier at some point. That's the other place. So I'm just going to find the suitable place for this, and I think I will crash. No, just brake. Come on. Yeah, this is a close one. Oh, I almost crashed at my folding base. I don't think that would have ended pretty, I guess. Yeah, so I'm just finding the suitable places. I'm not sure why it's skating around a lot. Maybe some damage to the wheels, and this is a good place, not the best, but a good place. So now I will release the garage. You see now the pieces are flipping around, and launch the exoskeleton, and away it goes. I place it on a downward orbit in order for it to crash and get destroyed. So now turning on the lights, that's cool, they work. The solar panels are providing the electricity for this garage. Those are the solar batteries. And here we have the lander with the 3 astronauts sitting in front. Okay, let me try to activate this stage. The rover is free. Let me drive it backwards. And it is a successful mission, ladies and gentlemen. I have a rover on the moon alongside with a garage. So this is the storage unit at the back of the rover. Now here I was just testing it, driving. It drives good, not the best vehicle that I've designed, but it drives well. Here you have it, guys. If you want to have your own garage on the moon, I think the Firecraft will be available in the description, and thank you for watching. See you in the next one.